we do have football coming your way right now, I do suspect, because I'm starting to hear something. I'm starting to hear that beloved tune of ours, the unknown Russian tune, which was probably just ripped off YouTube and given a little bit of a different pitch. I don't know the name of it. It's not the Kalinka, it's something else. That must be John Duggan's on the line. A very good morning to you, John.
Morning, Dave. How are you doing? I pulled out all the stops this morning, guys. This is a tube taker, which I think is a hot day they have in Kazan here. We're now 448 miles east of Moscow, with the Kul Sharif Mosque behind me. And this is a beautiful part of the world in Kazan, the Tatar region, Turkic ethnicity, and we're kind of in we're moving towards the Asian part of Eurasia. Of course, it's not just a European World Cup; it's a Eurasian World Cup with Russia hosting it. The biggest country in the world.
That is amazing. Like that hat, I'd read about the Kul Sharif Mosque, and I was prepared to see how impressive it was. But your hat has outdone one of the most famous mosques in the world, John, I must say.
Well, that's great. That's great. I mean, we might try and get it into the pubs of Dingle. We'll see how we get on. But beautiful day here for Brazil and Belgium later on this evening at the Kazan Arena, and then of course it's England, Sweden down the road in Samara. Well, a few hundred miles down the road in Samara tomorrow. So nice and sunny, nice and hot. It'll be hotter in Samara than it is here. But yeah, Brazil, Belgium. I mean that this is going to be this could be almost like a World Cup final in a quarter final. What a game to look forward to.
Does it feel like a festival of football in Kazan at the moment? Have the Belgians and Brazilians travelling in their numbers? Was there any actually on your sleeper train down to Kazan?
No, it was pretty quiet on the sleeper train to equate with the word. I don't know whether they house journalists in the same carriage or something, but no fans in my carriage, and that's been the way in the other trips that I've had. So we got through the sleep. Felt I was in an airplane at times, and then you realise you're actually on land. So that you get the half sleep, and I always look for a McDonald's. Is there a McDonald's near a train station, and just have a McDonald's breakfast, because you can't be worrying about just get something into you. But a few Brazilians, a few English actually, maybe the English felt they would be coming here. Maybe they felt they might top the group and be coming here, or maybe some of them are taking in today before going out to Samara tomorrow. So a few English, a few Brazilians, a few Belgians, a few Russians. I've seen a couple of Japanese as well, so maybe people are staying on. But quite a light touch so far to the support, but that'll change obviously later on. About a 45,000 capacity stadium this evening.
Just judging by the bit of the sky we can see above your head there, John, it looks like it's going to be a scorcher there this evening.
It is, yeah, and I think Kevin De Bruyne was struggling a little bit in the heat the other night. You could see him in Rostov, but look, I think these teams are pretty much acclimatized to what they're going to face tonight. Obviously the Brazilians will suit them a little bit more, but neither team has really exerted themselves so far, so I don't think it's going to be a factor. It could be a factor tomorrow for England and Sweden, but I don't think it'll be a factor. It could be a factor for Croatia down in Sochi. They're really playing an away game tomorrow night against the hosts, but not going to be a factor this evening, I don't think.
There's been a bit of mind games going on ahead of this game, John. I'm not sure if you'd agree, but just looking at Roberto Martinez's comments the other day, talking about things like this is a game that we're big underdogs for. Nobody expects us to go through to the semi-finals, whereas the line from Vincent Kompany has been very strong. It's like it's now or never for this Belgium team. We have to win this game, and nobody expects us to lose. Whereas Martinez is saying the very opposite. So I can only imagine it's just trying to build up the Brazilian confidence and trying to put themselves into a very heavy underdog position.
I wonder, is anybody even thinking about what the managers of the players say at this stage of it? I think the players just know themselves. Martinez, I don't know how he feels about Adnan Januzaj scoring that goal against England. When you look at the draw, I mean, the Belgium, Brazil, France, Uruguay, they'd be confident before them that they could take anybody else on the other side of the draw. And now you have a situation where Brazil and Belgium, neither team can really afford to lose it. Brazil can't really afford to lose it because this is meant to be the redemption World Cup after the 7-1 defeat in the semi-final. They've been great under Tichy, 19 clean sheets in 25 games, only conceded a goal this tournament, great in qualifying. But they're Brazil, and like Harry in Gaelic football or Dublin, they're expected to win tournaments and they're expected to win this World Cup. And for Neymar, for Coutinho, for all of these quality players, they're expected to win tonight. And they've been comfortable so far. They play within themselves. For Belgium, once again, they're expected to win. They're expected to be the golden generation that actually gets the gold and not goes out at the quarter-final stage. They've only reached one semi-final in their history, 1986. And with players like De Bruyne, like Hazard, like Lukaku, great players, they'd be expecting that they're going to go further in the competition. In terms of what I expect tonight, I don't know about this Belgian setup. I don't know what you guys thought in the Japan game, but I think there's passengers in this Belgian team. That's my personal opinion. I think the 3-5-2, I'm not sure if it works. I'm not sure if it's going to work with Marcelo back in the Brazilian team tonight, Neymar down the left. We have I'm not sure about Axel Witsel. I'm not sure about Carrasco, Meunier. I'm not sure about these players. And Kevin De Bruyne, for me, was playing too close to his defence against Japan, and he needs to be much further forward in the team. And probably the likes of Dembele and Fellaini possibly deserve a chance against this Brazilian team that could cut you apart, the way they attack and the way they are happy enough to rely on the fact that they've got a very good defensive record. They're very solid defensively. Fernandinho, of course, coming in tonight for Casemiro, who's suspended. That'll be interesting to see the likes of De Bruyne against his club mate. But Belgium need to, maybe the underdog tag will help them. Maybe the fact that they were fancy to beat Japan maybe engineered a bit of complacency. But Belgium have to play the game of their lives tonight. And from what I see, 1 to 11, there's some players in there that I worry about.
John, they're clearly trying to extol the positives from the win over Japan, and Roberto Martinez described it as, this incredible test of character, which they clearly passed. But the flip side of that is that it was a truly awful performance for 65, 70 minutes, and that if they throw anything in like that tonight, they're going to lose this game heavily.
They are, Dave, and I think it was a little bit arrogant from Belgium. I think they thought they'd coast through it, and then they got caught with 2 great goals from Japan. But I just worry about the flanks. So Neymar down the left, Willian down the right. I can just see. I would. I'm no expert in terms of Roberto Martinez or that, but I'd be considering a 4-4-2 if I was Belgium. I'd be considering having whether it's Meunier or Alderweireld on the right, maybe bringing another central defender, have Vertonghen on the left, and have the likes of Dembele and Fellaini protecting that defence. And then you have your attacking players like De Bruyne and Hazard. I don't really get this Carrasco, Meunier, Witsel axis that Belgium are using. Whereas when I look at the Brazil team, apart from maybe that transition between defence and attack, that there might not be that much cover for the holding midfielder, Casemiro or Fernandinho. Generally, apart from that, they've been extremely solid defensively. Thiago Silva and Miranda are playing well together. Paulinho has returned to form, ghosted in, and then you have that 3-pronged attack. Maybe Firmino might feel he should get the chance to start ahead of Jesus, who hasn't really fired yet. But we know what Brazil are going to bring. They're going to bring, they've got an extremely good coach. I think this is probably been underplayed a little bit. Chichi, he's won a Champions League in South America with Corinthians. He talks and he walks the game. We know that Gareth Southgate can talk the game, but Chichi is also walking the game. And I think he's managed Neymar very well. And the only thing I think that the only kind of question mark for Brazil is when the heat comes on, which you will either against Belgium if they get through tonight, or France or Uruguay, will there be any mental scars from what happened 4 years ago and the fact that they haven't won a World Cup since 2002?
I guess it's a good thing that Meunier is at least a clubmate of Neymar, and he will have trained against him and with them so many times. If there's any full-back that has to try and deal with them that will know any more about him, there probably isn't one in the tournament. Meunier was asked that direct question, how do you cope with him? He said, I actually don't know how, I'll just have to do my best. But if anyone has a little trick up his sleeve, it might be him.
Possibly, but Thomas Meunier wouldn't strike me as a player. I just see Neymar in the flesh. Neymar is almost unplayable. If his head is in the game, and I think his head should be in the game tonight, because he knows after missing a semi-final 4 years ago how important this is. And I think that all the talk about Neymar and diving and cheating and all these kind of accusations are leveled against him. I don't think there'll be much focus on that tonight. I think it's too important. It's
on a yellow card though, John, isn't he? Wonder is that something that maybe they could target? I mean, it would be very interesting to see if there's a Roy Keane type reaction to being booked early in the game, and he takes it upon himself to drive the team forward, and this is not about me, I'm just going to do my best for the team, or whether he gets into a sulk. And if somehow Meunier could engineer a situation where Neymar's booked inside the first 5 minutes, that could be a huge moment.
Yeah, I would. That's a good point, and I would say that I would say Neymar is more likely to sulk than do a Gascoigne or a Roy Keane and like a Keane against Juventus. Yeah, it's a worry, and is it fair? I don't know. After the group stage, that somebody should still be on a yellow, but I think he's more likely to sulk. And I'd love to know if Chichi has had that conversation with him. You just need to be careful, mate. Don't get involved. Fellaini would be a great player to wind him up. I don't think he's going to play from the start, but Fellaini now would be the type of player that would love to wind Neymar up. But it's a good point, and it's something that could change the focus of the game if it did happen. But Willian was good the last day, I thought, and I still think Brazil are favourites to win, because I don't think Martinez is getting the best out of this Belgium team on based on what I've seen so far, both against Wales. Well, obviously he wasn't managing then, Wilmots was, but there is that flat track bully fear about Belgium, and this will have to be the day that they they prove us all wrong on that. And Japan is not enough evidence for me that they proved us wrong, that they're not flat track bullies, and that they are the golden generation.
Do you see the Kevin De Bruyne positional discussion, John, as a problem for Belgium? Do you think that, like, automatically once he's playing too deep, his attacking prowess is going to be lessened? He's not going to be creating as many clear-cut opportunities playing in that position. There's no question about that. But then there's also the problem of him sitting in a deep position, taking up a defensive position, really, like a more defensive position than he would for Manchester City, which could lead to a leakage at the back almost. It seems that it's a lose-lose situation from a Martinez position for him to be playing in such a role.
Well, if Kevin De Bruyne is criticising your tactics, which he did, which is unusual for a player so publicly against Mexico, and that he's had, I think, more assists than any other Premier League player in the last 5 seasons. Kevin De Bruyne is a brilliant attacking midfielder. He's a brilliant player, and he is the guy to pick the bass. Wouldn't England love Kevin De Bruyne in their team right now? And I don't understand the position he's in. I don't understand this whole midfield Witsel De Bruyne thing at all. I think they need the Dembeles of the world in there to just protect the back four, if it's a back four, and then let De Bruyne and Hazard do their thing. So I don't really understand it, and I'm interested to see if there'll be any changes tonight, because there's a lot of players in that Belgium second 11 that might feel that they should be in the first 11.
We do want to chat briefly about what's going to happen tomorrow, because obviously you've been immersed in the Russian culture for the last couple of weeks. We want to chat about Russia-Croatia in a moment, but before that, of course, you're going to the England match tomorrow. You're heading down to Samara, and before we get into the nuts and bolts of the game, we have to ask you if you're going to stop off in Ulyanovsk, a town that you're familiar with. I understand that your freedom of the city lasted for 24 hours, John, and it was a one-day pass to the freedom of all the wonders Ulyanovsk has to offer.
There was a contact of mine said that if I came down, they'd look after me for the day. So I wouldn't. I think this kind of freedom is a little bit overplayed. So make sure there's nothing on the Wikipedia page, lads, please. I might try and get there before next week. I won't be able to get there tomorrow because it's a 6 or 7 hour drive from Kazan to Samara, and I've got to get back as well. So wouldn't be planning to go to Samara unless England were in it. But no, I won't be stopping off at Lenin's birthplace just yet, but hopefully by the time I get back to Ireland I will have seen it.
Well, one day, John, one day. I know you haven't got there yet, obviously, but is there big crowds expected from an England perspective to get their flight from the UK to Samara for this weekend? It seems that people like yourself and or most of the press corps over there have really been enjoying themselves over in Russia and have said it's okay, you can travel to Russia, everything's going to be fine. So English people with a bit of money, I'd assume, have hopped on a plane this weekend to go to Samara.
Well, they need a bit of money, first of all. I think it was £700 they're quoting for tickets. It's not the biggest stadium, about 44,000 capacity. Obviously, they have Sweden fans as well. Getting fan IDs, all that, visas, all this kind of stuff is a bit of a chore. But it's been a fantastic place, Russia. I think I saw somebody on Twitter saying back from Russia, hadn't been attacked by bears, hadn't been poisoned, nothing has gone wrong. And somebody, an English fan on Twitter, and it was it's a beautiful, hospitable place. It's just a fantastic country. So that's my experience of it. Maybe it is a Potemkin village, but I think the country is too vast for it to be like that. Of course, there's a huge police presence. Control can work in a positive and a negative way in any country. But if any England fan is considering going over, get over here. This is the World Cup quarter-final. It's 12 years since you've had one. You've never had a better chance. I think England are going to reach the final, lads. I don't think they're going to win the World Cup. I think surely somebody on the other side of the draw will win the World Cup. But I think Sweden are the best team they could face. Not that pacey, like other teams to have the ball. They've had 36% possession of the tournament, greater than some of their parts. But I think for England, who like to have the ball, I think Sweden are the best team they can face tomorrow. So I'd hope to see more England fans than I saw against Colombia and then I saw against Panama and Nizhny Novgorod. Obviously, see by the television figures over there, 25 million people watching the matches, that it's great. And that's why the World Cup has to stay on terrestrial television, because there is no greater show on earth like it. And that has been the experience that I've tasted so far. And I hope that the England fans find a way to Samara tomorrow.
Since you're saying that England are going to reach the final, John, you seem to have changed your view a small bit on Croatia. You felt that they were the most impressive side in the group stages. And has that performance against Denmark really hampered their chances in your view?
No, I wouldn't have said. I don't think I said that they were the most impressive side in the group stages. I think Brazil have always been my tip, and I thought that they're best team in the group stages. I think Croatia played very well in the group stages. I think it's more of a gut feeling about England that I have. I wouldn't be surprised if Croatia reached the final. But against Nigeria, Croatia didn't have a shot on goal to the 71st minute. Against Argentina, they were slightly flattered by the fact that Argentina are a mess. They did make 9 changes against Iceland and win. That was impressive. Denmark, though, were a team that frustrates. Denmark are a hard team to play against. And Croatia found it difficult, especially in the second half. But they had a chance to win the game in normal time. They didn't, and then they won it in penalties. So I think with Croatia, people are saying that they're the most impressive team or this or that. They're a very good team, but they don't have that many young players. They've got Remi Rebic, their right winger, who could really make an impact tomorrow. He's been playing well. And Brozovic in the centre of the midfield. I think they're, 23 and 25 respectively. Apart from that, you've got Rakitic and Modric in their 30s, Mandzukic in his 30s, Perisic is 29. Not a young team. Good team at Euros, beat Spain. We're unlucky against Portugal. Can see them in the final. But I just got a feeling that England might go the whole way to the final. That's just a good feeling. It's not really based on logic. It's based on gut.
John, do you see Gareth Southgate making any changes? Really, maybe the presence of Sterling in the team is probably the only source of debate, whether a Rashford, for example, should be in from the start. My gut would tell me that he'll go with the same 11, but what are your thoughts on it?
I would say he will go with the same 11. I would agree that what England lack is creativity. I think we all know that they lack a. I don't even want to say whether Jack Wilshere is the answer or not, but they lack a Gascoigne. They lack someone to prize open a defence. And I think only, apart from of the 9 goals I think they've scored, and they scored 9 in the tournament, I think only 2 of them have come from open play. Harry Kane has got 2 from corners, a couple of penalties. So that will concern me about England, but I think against Sweden they'll be okay with that. Sterling, lively, he was moving around a lot against Colombia, but I think he petered out. He spluttered out to me a bit. Rashford, I think he's very pacey. I think he suits playing with Kane better, but I wasn't that impressed with Rashford against Belgium in the game I saw in Kaliningrad. He should have scored that chance, and he needs to be putting these away. To be fair, he did put away the penalty the other night. It was well took, but yeah, I can't really see Southgate deviating from the 3-5-2. They know they're obviously very well organised. They've been practicing penalties this March. We see with set pieces and Trippier's influence how well they've been doing from those kind of balls. So everything is. I think England are doing as much as they can, but it's just that lack of creative spark. They need to be creating more chances and taking more chances in open play. But once again, as I said, I don't think Sweden. I think Sweden are going to really hurt them. I just can't. Hitting England on the counter. I don't know. I don't know whether Toivonen and Marcus Berg are going to take England apart. Can't really see it. I think Sweden are a team that I thought struggled against Germany in the last 20-30 minutes, and Mexico might have just shot their bolt a bit, having the euphoria and like the Giant Stadium almost euphoria. Remember when we beat Italy at the Giant Stadium? We were never really the same in that tournament, and maybe Mexico were like that after the Germany game. Biggest win possibly in their lives away from home.
Given that it is Sweden, though, John, do you think there is a little bit of potential still for this to go sour for them? Like if they were playing a Brazil or a France or a Germany or a Spain in the last days, all expectation levels would have plummeted after the win over Colombia, and they would be considered by most England supporters and the media to be in bonus territory right now, regardless of what happens in the game. But because it's Sweden, if they go home on the back of a last 8 defeat to them, and it's Sweden are actually in the last 4, and probably the greatest opportunity since Italia 90 just frittered away, that it actually could turn sour on Southgate and the players.
I don't think so. I think they've just got over the bridge, Dave. I think they were over the bridge in the honeymoon because of their recent tournaments, because of Iceland, and because of the World Cup in 2014, they didn't even get out of the group, and because I think people realise this is a young team, and they've got like people like Maitland-Niles coming in the next 2 years, and Sessegnon, that and a really good underage structure. So I think that they get the benefit of the doubt. I know what you're saying, that this is the best chance that they've had. But what actually I think will help them, lads, is the way the Colombia game transpired. If they'd won 1-0, if Yerry Mina hadn't headed in that goal, they wouldn't have been tested, because they were really struggling after that goal went in for the first 10 minutes of extra time. But then they rallied, they had a couple of chances. They should have won the game in extra time, either Rose or Dyer, and then they won on penalties. I think that'll give them huge confidence. And I'd expect them to get through tomorrow. I'm pretty confident that England will get through tomorrow. If they don't, I still think on the benefit of the doubt, I think there'll be enough goodwill there with England for the feel-good factor to continue. But I know what you're saying.
Well, listen, John, a safe journey down to Samara this evening or tomorrow, whenever you're travelling. And there's tons of comments coming in complimenting you on your hat. So congratulations on your fashion decision this morning. Enjoy Kazan, and we'll chat to you again on Monday.
Can't wait for Brazil-Belgium, lads. Enjoy the day.